Hello, ladies and gents. Michael Burhan from Fanboys and Nerdgenious, and I'm with
Devin Akin. I'm the Chief Evangelist for Airtight Networks.
So, Devin, what is it that you guys do?
We're a secure cloud-based or cloud-managed Wi-Fi solution. We focus on certain vertical markets to provide we'll call it a vertical-specific, intelligence-driven business enablement using Wi-Fi as that enabler. So instead of being focused, I would say, horizontally, where it's about speeds and feeds, and our AP is faster than your AP, and it has more features than your AP, we drive an intelligence platform to drive your business. You'll see whether it's location services, or it's social and analytics integration, or it's wireless intrusion protection or BYOD. All of these different types of intelligence are delivered via our cloud to the customer, and that helps the customer drive their business forward.
So let's talk a little bit about social Wi-Fi, because we touched upon this earlier, and apparently you guys are the main company that implements this. Tell us a bit more about it, because it sounds very innovative.
So, with the social piece, when you log in, let's take retail for an example. They're a heavy user of social Wi-Fi. And what we mean by social Wi-Fi is when you use a social login as an authentication mechanism. Maybe I want to log in through a captive web portal. I go to a sandwich shop or something similar, and I log in to use their guest Wi-Fi. Then I'm going to see this captive web portal that says, hey, would you like to log in with your Twitter or your Facebook or your LinkedIn or your Google Plus or so on? And perhaps maybe I choose Facebook. Yeah, that's pretty common. I choose Facebook, and the business then says, hey, would you like to like us on Facebook? And I click the like button. This earned media, if you will, is now an average of value of $174 US. So I'm now, instead of advertising in a magazine or on a TV station or radio, I'm advertising to my friends and saying, I like this sandwich shop. So I'm not worth a $7 sandwich anymore. I'm worth $174 in earned media plus the $7 sandwich. So this adds real value to the company who's implementing this social Wi-Fi. And in addition, they're getting the analytics behind this to understand their customer base. They understand who you are, how old you are, male, female, how often do you come to their shop, which shops do you come to, and they can use that to spend their marketing dollars toward the right demographics.
Yeah, of course, because it's if you're looking at the SEO basics and analytics, you're making it more of a wider spectrum now, because you're not just making it national and something for big companies, you're making it for local shops as well. So anyone that carries this service can actually get a bit of advertising in a like-for-like basis.
That's right. So this can take it down to even we'll call it the mom and pop shop. The local coffee shop can do this. They can understand their customer base. They can engage their customer base better. They know who's coming at what frequency. They know how to sell to them better. They know when to offer them a $5 coupon, a $1 coupon. They know if it's their second time this week, maybe they want to offer something different. So having these analytics behind this social login is very good. And maybe you want to log in with your email. Maybe we want to tie that to your online business. So now we have that omni-channel experience. Maybe we want to engage you in the same way in the store as we do on the online, and understand the whole shopper experience. That type of we'll say socialization and personalization experience that's happening now, where we say, well, you know who I am as a buyer, and then turn around and socialize that to my audience on behalf of the business, and saying this is a great sandwich shop, coffee shop, retail store. That really helps drive their business forward.
You're localizing it now. You're making it more sort of a small business kind of experience, which is, as I said, it's something very unique, because in the progression of social media, the progression of companies such as Google and Facebook, the small business has kind of been left out of that. You know, they've been left out of that loop, and something like this brings them up to compete with those big companies, because they got that like-for-like basis. If I own a small sandwich shop or a mom-and-pop store, I can offer that free Wi-Fi service and then get myself a lot of promotion there as well from every client that passes through.
That's right. Most of these smaller businesses see buying Wi-Fi, putting in a DSL circuit or a cable circuit and putting Wi-Fi in as a cost center, and when in fact it's a business enabler. It can drive your business forward. It's basically free advertising. When you see it as a cost center, it's really a profit center. It does allow you to compete with the giant retailers and things like this, the chains. So that's just the retail. If you look at the finance sector, if you look at the healthcare sector, the education sector, you see the the same type of business needs. They have a slightly different spin, but you see that social Wi-Fi, analytics, location-based services, all of these different components and intelligences that you can drive from the cloud over this commoditized Wi-Fi connection. The speeds and feeds, everybody's fast, everybody can do density, so what? If you want to race a Maserati and a Ferrari in the middle of rush hour traffic, who's going to win? Who cares? Nobody's going to win because the constraint is the street, right? And so if that's the case, let's talk about what else can we do? What else can we bring? What kind of value can we bring specifically in this vertical market to drive your business forward? Because ultimately, if you may not need Wi-Fi to drive your business forward. That's a decision you need to make. Do you need Wi-Fi? And if you do, what else can it bring?
Well, with this time with social media integration, I think everybody needs something that they can actually have as part of their business. And the thing about, I don't know about anybody else, but about with me or anybody else who's looking for a Wi-Fi hotspot, they're going to tap into anything that's free. So it does kind of help them out in this one process and help the business out in another. So all in all, I think it's going to be something that's 100% effective.
Yeah, I think so too. This isn't just a minor trend. We call it SMAC, Social Mobile Analytics and Cloud. And this SMAC phenomenon is it has certain effects in all markets, but you'll see in retail and in media and some of the finance, you'll see a lot of these different markets, it's having a major effect. They're having to overhaul their business around this phenomenon called SMAC. You'll see that a lot.
So the one thing that people are going to be curious about is data protection, because with everybody, there's a huge hoopla at the moment, especially with the internet, on how Facebook uses their information, how they monetize their information, which in a sense is kind of a trade for using their services. Is their information safe in this sort of environment?
Well, I think there's a lot of ways to answer that question. So safe is relative. I'll say it this way: most people are willing to give up a certain amount of personal information for a certain amount of value. If you're giving them something for it, whether it's a coupon or a convenience or an understanding of who they are when they come into the store, they're willing to give you a certain amount of information. And this is really what this social media login thing is about. I'll give you a certain amount of information about me if you'll give me a certain amount of value for that. And you'll see the more value you offer the customer, the more information they give you. Of course, then when they offer that personal information, you can do something with that. Maybe you can market better to them. You know the demographics, you know where to spend your marketing funds and so forth. So it's a trade. Is their information safe? Well, they've chosen to put whether it's their phone number, their email address, where they live, they've chosen to put that on Facebook or on Twitter or on LinkedIn. They've already made that choice. And so now they're choosing to use that login and to give that to the retailer or to the educational facility or what have you. That's their choice. So it's an opt-in scenario.
That's another thing as well, and the great thing is they are getting something out of it in terms of it, and because we've got like companies like Facebook, for instance, for using their service they provide and start monetizing people's likes. Now with this in aiding other businesses, at least you are helping out your local community. You're helping the local mom and pop stores, your local library, your local community officer. Even for a sense, you're getting free Wi-Fi. You're also driving business to your local hotel.
Yeah, that's true. It's a huge value add for these businesses. Like I say, they're often considering Wi-Fi as a cost center. Considering hotels, you go to the hotel. How many hotels have you been to that have the greatest Wi-Fi ever? Almost none, right? And yet, the stats show that more than 85% of people choose their hotel based on the quality of the Wi-Fi at that hotel. Not the bed, not the shower, not the breakfast. They're choosing it based on the Wi-Fi. And yet you get there and the Wi-Fi is just terrible. And so they need to consider that this is a way to drive business, in the door. They provide really good quality Wi-Fi. Do a good survey, choose the right vendor, implement it in the right way, do a good design, and then have the proper internet backhaul. It will drive business back to you. 85% of the people say so.
So let's talk about speeds. How fast is this?
So, today's 802.11n, which is kind of the industry de facto standard today, you'll see that the higher end APs of that standard is, you'll see dual 450 megabit radios, right? The half of that is throughput. That's still very fast, right? We're moving as an industry up to 11AC now. That 802.11ac is the new standard. And so with that, we're moving up to a maximum capability of 1.3 gigs per radio. And so these speeds are so far past what most people use. Most customers, if you find your average access point, you're using less than 5 megs of throughput. So even 802.11n is fantastic. It has way more throughput than most people need. In fact, most customers would be fine with 802.11a or G, the old standards, but of course with all the marketing and the hoopla, the vendors and all of their resellers are like, hey, buy the new stuff, and of course people do. And of course the pricing is good, so they do buy it. Well, then of course with the newest 11AC standards coming out, the vendors will push that, and then there'll be another, what we call Wave 2 coming out for 11AC in a year's time. And people will buy that, and that will be even faster. And so as we see multiple gigabits of speed, what do we need all that for? Are we going to use it for video streaming? Even still, it's way faster than we need. So what we have is the same situations we had with Ethernet. We can do gigabit to the desktop. Do we use it? Even if you have a desktop that has gigabit, you might use 1 meg or 2 megs, and you might peak at maybe 50 or 100 megs for 10 seconds every day. And so it's way overkill, and that's where driving additional value via services from a cloud really gives something to the customer. Speeds and feeds, who cares? It's so fast it just doesn't matter.
So one final question for you. If you could describe your company in one word, what would that be?
Results. But before you meet us and after you meet us, there'll be a difference. Results is the word I would use.
Brilliant. This is Michael Burhan, and thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.